All right. So as you start to go around and kind of play around being mindful, playing around with the curiosity of how your body is interacting with things around you, and just kind of be mindful of how other people respond to things as well. Growing this skill. So it really just kind of gets embedded as part of your behavioral process, and it grows your energetic, emotional, and spiritual development. It's kind of a game changer. So let's talk a little bit about mindfulness consumption as well as mindfulness movement, because you don't have to just sit down and be quiet and just listen to your thoughts all the time. That would be terrifying and boring, but there are other ways to do it too. There are other ways to incorporate this into your life. So some mindfulness practice and exercises come through consumption, which means what? All the things, and movement, which is a great way. So let's dive into screen sharing. We're going to talk about some mindful consumption stuff. So diving into really thinking what your thoughts and emotions like come up as you're doing these activities. So letting thoughts and emotions come and go, trying not to attach to anything, trying not to respond to anything or attach meanings to things. For example, hearing no or a fear of rejection is you are not afraid of rejection itself. You have fear for the attachment that you have made to that rejection. So somebody saying no, for example, you've attached maybe that you're not good at sales, you're not a good business owner. Somebody says no to a date. So you might be, the attachment to that objection or rejection could be that you're not attractive, you're not smart, you're not lovable. That is what you're afraid of. You're not a fear of the actual no. So starting that grounding foundation to figure out all this bullshit moments that keep stuck in your head, keep you, in the self-sabotaging cycle. Holy, that was a hard one. You are bringing awareness rather than identifying. Identify, not identity. Be the observer. Use it as a learning experience. Heck, the holidays are a great time too to just observe how your body reacts to people around you. I'm one of those people now that I get almost excited when my body gets triggered because I'm like, ooh, there's something that I need to work on and be healed. So mindful consumption. I mean food. I mean media. What you're listening to, what you're intaking. You should be intaking more than you should be putting out, or you should be putting out more than you're intaking. You should be trying to connect rather than constantly trying to numb yourself. Now, I'm going to dive deep into this in the vulnerability and coping with hard emotions module, but doing things like keeping yourself around, let's say, the news and media that always makes you feel shitty. Go watch the news one day and really start to see how your body feels watching that. It keeps you in this consistent low vibrating state of just fear and frustration or hate and sadness. What about the music that you listen to? Is it high vibing? Is it inspiring? Are you listening to a lot of heartbreak music? Great mindfulness exercise I've done before is I used to do this in dating too as well, and just meeting new people in general. I'm like, what are the top 3 to 5 songs that you currently listen to right now that you just kind of have on repeat? The dopamine just keeps kind of hitting it. Tells you a lot about what state you're currently going through and navigating. So watching what foods, the processed bullshit, feeding our bodies in a really healthy and good and mindful way. Mindful eating is something that I incorporated a lot. Mindful movement and mindful eating are things I incorporated a lot when I was a fitness and nutrition specialist. Listening and seeing how your body responds to certain type of foods, you can start to make correlations for food sensitivities, things that you should or shouldn't eat. This is how I was really able to start to identify what foods I needed to avoid with my autoimmune issues. Certain foods trigger my body in a certain way, and I have to stay away from those, but I didn't know about it for years because I was so comfortable with living in the suffering and uncomfortability and pain that food always put me in. I thought it was normalized. Fun fact, your pain that you're consistently putting yourself through, it might be normal, but it's not healthy. Healthy and normal are very different things. Meditating, this is where guided meditations are great, especially if you have a really busy mind that kind of goes off and wanders and you feel like you can't concentrate. Allowing yourself to just really be present and just see where it goes. This helps you grow mindfulness in your body and start to really ask your body questions, and your body can answer it and show you what's going on. Mindfulness working is something I do a lot with my one-on-one business clients. This is where we start to see what things in your life and in your career and in your success, what things, parts or aspects of it light you up and make you feel good and times like not a thing and you just love doing it, and what parts don't, what parts drain you, what parts would you like to or would rather not do altogether. These aspects of yourself will tell you a lot about your workplace wealth and health and your relationship with money and all the stuff, but also consumption. If you want a beautiful consumption exercise, scrolling and mindfulness exercise, something I've done with my clients many a times, fitness and nutrition, as well as spiritual and business, is go ahead and start scrolling through your phone and your social media. Or if I were to tell you to go scroll for 10 minutes on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, Twitter that you listen to or watch or consume things on, do you usually feel better or worse after consuming it? And as you're scrolling, if something ignites something very negative in you, being aware of that, but also you can remove those stimulus in general. Those don't have to be long-term. Everything is temporary and it's important for your healing. So removing the things that are consistently igniting you is really important. So removing the food that makes you feel like shit, removing the people that make you feel terrible, removing the social media, the triggers, so you can start to dig deep and give yourself the space to heal. It can be super temporary. I've unfollowed and cut people out that I said, hey, this is for my healing process. You have to set some boundaries. And it's not personal. And the people who take it personal, that is a them problem, not a you problem. I know that sounds like a duh. I mean, I get that. But also for some people, it feels selfish to take care of themselves. It feels selfish to have their own wants, needs, and desires. And that's okay. Like if you were programmed in that way, you have to start giving yourself grace. You have to start giving yourself forgiveness. So you have the space to start to understand. Because understanding comes from a place of openness and willingness to hear and accept all things that are coming in. So go through and scroll and see if it's good or it's bad. You can remove things. Facebook's, you can take a break from certain people in consumption. I don't watch the news at all anymore because it just makes me feel terrible. And that's something I used to do every single morning as I got ready throughout my entire life. Was always started the day with news. No wonder I was in a self-shitty spiral, starting my day every day with negativity and frustration and hate as a motivating factor, putting myself into a state of fear before doing anything. If you start to wake up and hate and just dread going to your job the next day, that is a problem. You're using and taking up so much energy in your body, doing something that is not aligned and is not good for you. If you were consistently eating something and everyone was telling you it was unhealthy for you and it was killing you, would you stop eating it eventually? I mean, that's a trick question. We're all out here, energy drinks and vapes and all this stuff. So what really kind of question was that? And last but not least, let's talk about mindful movement. Now, mind and body connection comes from so many different ways. I mastered this through lifting weights for so long. I wanted to activate the right muscles properly so I didn't hurt myself. Like I obsessed about the science and the physiology behind mind and muscle connection. And mindful movement really helps be able to do that. So when you go for a walk, just noticing what hurts, what feels good, what feels better, what feels stronger. That mind to body connection. Yoga is actually a form of mindful or meditation movement, moving while meditating, because you don't have to sit still and be quiet to just meditate. You can do it through movement. Meditative listening or mindfulness listening is when you listen to somebody with no intent to solve the problem, to do anything, but just to listen and see what comes up for you and is reacted with you. You are just the observer. You're a little scientist. We have a little hypothesis. We try things and we see how our body responds. And when something else comes up that we don't understand, you have to give yourself grace and understanding, because you're going to dig into some deep stuff when you start to ask questions, because you're asking questions that you may or may not be ready for the answers for. And that can be scary. That's what I'm here for. So I spit out a lot of mindfulness meditation activities, mindfulness movement activities, consumption awareness stuff. Let me know of any aha moments that you have with consumption, and go through and look and see, like, do you intake more good than bad? My Instagram and TikTok are perfectly set up that when I'm feeling down and low, they are the place that I go to learn something new and get inspired, because I've set it up that way. If you go to your social media and you spend a lot of time on social media, which a lot of us do you feel better or worse by the people you surround yourself with and consume content for? It's a good question to ask.